Welcome back to Fiercely Unfiltered. I'm your host, Kelly Renee. Today, I want to talk about my first marriage. I talked about their bio dad in my last episode, so I figured this would be a good episode to talk about my marriage to their dad. Me and their dad met when I was 20. He was 22. We both were in the military. I had joined a year earlier. It was not even a year since I'd been in. I got to my first duty station, Fort Bragg, after basic and everything. And there was this guy, and I was at a party or hanging out, and this guy showed up. I thought he was hot. He was tall, dark, green eyes. And I was like, that guy's hot. But then I didn't talk to him at that party. But then a couple days later, my friend was like, there's this guy I want to introduce you to. He's friends with the guy I'm seeing. And she had just met this guy that she was seeing like a week ago. This was the beginning of 1998. So sure enough, I went to meet this guy, and it happened to be the guy I saw a couple days ago. And I was like, oh, this guy's hot. So we actually started dating. We were dating for probably 2 weeks. We met at the end of January. And probably about 2 weeks later, we were all four hanging out. And my friend was like, we should all get married. I'm like, what? And she's like, I heard you get extra money in the military for being married. We can all move in together and get money and be able to pay for rent. And we don't have to live in these barracks anymore. Because we lived in barracks, 3 people. It was not great living conditions. And we were like, are you serious? And we're like, let's do it. So Friday the 13th was the next Friday that we were able to go do it. So on Friday the 13th, it was February 13th, we went down to the courthouse and we got married. We didn't say vows. We didn't do any of that because we didn't love each other. It was just for convenience. So we just said, let's just sign the paperwork. We don't want to lie and say vows. So we got married. And then within a month, the 4 of us got a house in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It was a cute little house. We all 4 shared, and it worked out. And we were roommates for the next couple years. We were dating, but we were married. It was, I don't know. It's like if you get married for convenient reasons, it was just for money and to be able to get out of the barracks. But we were already dating and having sex with each other. So we just had that title. And at the time, like we were married for 3 years before we had kids. But it was a great partnership, actually. We were 20. We both had tons of childhood trauma we haven't even realized we had yet. So it was toxic at times. But looking back at it after my second marriage just ending, it actually probably was a healthier relationship than I gave it credit for. When you don't love someone and you're married to them, like everything they do is more annoying. I feel like because the second marriage, I got married out of love. And it's like a lot of red flags I didn't see as red flags because I loved him. But for my first relationship, it was just about convenience. So there wasn't really love in it. Through the years, I guess I could say I loved him. But did I really know what love was at the time? I was 20. We met after a couple weeks. How do you know someone just after a couple weeks of like knowing them? You don't know anything about them. And once you get to learn stuff about them, like, does love always come? Like if you choose someone and say, hey, let's be together, let's try and make a life together. Does love always come? Or is it just an agreement and you're like, is this what marriage is? Is this what love is? Is it just 2 people partnering in life to make it? Or is love supposed to be this amazing, magical feeling that you get? And at 20, I thought maybe I was missing out on this magical love you're supposed to get. I mean, he was the husband who would clean the house, he'd make food. We went to the field for 30 days at a time separately. So we had a lot of space from each other too. But we did do a lot of things. We traveled, we went to Myrtle Beach a lot, we played co-ed softball. We did a lot of things together. And looking back at it, it's probably a healthier relationship than I gave it credit for because I was young and I didn't know what healthy looked like. But for that marriage, after 3 years, he got stationed to Korea and I didn't have to go with him, but I wanted to. So obviously I loved him enough to want to follow him to Korea for a year. So we were both stationed in Korea for a year. And that's where my term was almost up. It was my first enlistment, 4 years. Korea was going to be my last duty station. But I decided I wasn't done yet. I wanted to re-enlist. So I re-enlisted in Korea and I got to pick my duty station coming back because I re-enlisted. So I picked for us to go back to Fort Lewis, Washington. That was the closest to California I can get to. We both lived in California, him in Northern, me in Southern. So we ended up at Fort Lewis, Washington. And the next chapter for me was going to be kids. I was about 25. That's about the time I wanted to start having kids. I was married, so I had a husband. And I don't even think I really cared if he wanted kids at the time. I started standing on my head after we had sex. I don't think I even asked him. I think I was like, hey, it's time for us to have kids. And he's like, I don't want kids. I'm like, too bad. It's the part of my plan. That's what's next. So within a month, I was pregnant and it was in Korea. And when we came back from Korea, we actually came back a week before September 11th. So that was a whole different situation. But when we came back to the United States, I was pregnant and we got a house off base and we lived a good life. And after my kid was 6 months old, I decided it was time to have another kid. I've always wanted two kids, 18 months apart. That was just the plan for my life. And back when I was that age, I was just going according to the plan that I made. I wasn't going where life took me. I was going where I planned that I was going to be in life at that age. And that's what I made happen. And that's what I regret. I regret trying to control my journey. I regret trying to map out everything that took place. I wish I would have just let, like I am now. It's actually a lot more peaceful. Just to do the best you can do every day and then just see where life takes you. Wait for the opportunity to meet preparation. So that's what I'm hoping happens now. But now I haven't talked to my first husband since my kids graduated 8th grade. I didn't even really talk to him then, but he showed up at their 8th grade graduations unannounced and we just saw him in the crowd and we're like, hey, he's like, do you guys want to go to lunch? And the kids are like, no. And he's like, okay, we'll see you later. And just left. It was very weird. But to find out he was dealing with his own problems, I think he's like 5 years sober now, which is great. My oldest kid moved in with him when everything went down here and he had to move out. So since September 2022, my oldest is in Oregon living with his bio dad. So it's crazy how they have different men in their lives at different times. When he couldn't be in their life, I had their stepdad. And now when their stepdad can't be in their life, their bio dad's back in their life. So hopefully they always have one. I wish both of them would be in their life. It would great. The more people that can love my kids, the better. But one of these days I'm going to reach out to him. We haven't spoken in forever. We were both young. I probably owe him an apology because we were going according to my plan of life. I don't think he even really wanted kids, but I forced them on him. I just went according to my plan. So I kind of look back and I think, which marriage was better? The one where I got married for convenience and we had a partnership and he took care of stuff, I took care of stuff. And I was pregnant with two kids. We had two kids under 2. That's the most stressful time in people's marriages. We made it through. Like the reason we didn't make it is once we got out of the military and it wasn't so structured and it didn't tell you what you needed to do in your day, it was kind of like refining yourself. And we weren't, besides the military bringing us together, we weren't really compatible. Without that, it's like, what are we going to do? He tried to get a job in IT after. He couldn't support us with me trying to be a stay-at-home mom. So we tried to put our house on the market and move. I had a bad experience with my realtor. I didn't think she was doing a good job. So I took my house off the market and I went and got my real estate license. And then I was very successful my first year in real estate. So he decided to do more of the taking care of the kids. And it worked out great. He stayed home with the kids. He did some IT work from home, but he was the initial caregiver at that time and I made the money. And I had the role that men normally have. I went to work, I came home, and I understand that life. I came home and I didn't want to have to deal with the kids right away. I needed to wind down from work. And I understand he's been at home with the kids all day, but I didn't care. I wanted to wind down from work. So I kind of understand guys' perspectives and female perspectives because I kind of live both sides. And now with my life where it is right now, that might have actually been the kind of relationship I needed because I am the type A personality and I like to go all in and go out and do what I can do to make things happen. And to have 2 kids at home and you being full responsible, it's hard. So, he was there at that time, and I got into real estate. I was very successful at it. We did great. But then we're at the point where we just didn't love each other. He would say, "I just don't love you." And I couldn't get mad about it because we didn't marry for love. And I can't expect just because I got married to someone that they're gonna fall in love with me. So we had an agreement that we were gonna stay together till the kids went to school because it was hard, 2 little kids. We were already living with each other and partnering with each other for the past 7 years to make it happen, and it was working. So we made that agreement, and I was gonna stick with it. But then it just started getting a little more toxic. We started annoying each other a little more. I mean, you know how it is when you have 2 little kids. And imagine having 2 little kids with someone that you never were in love with. Things are a lot more annoying when you don't even love the person. Because I know when you love a person, you oversee all their negative qualities. But let me tell you, when you don't love someone, they all stick out a lot more. But my second husband and him were friends actually. He used to come over, they used to play video games together and hang out. And like now, I don't talk about my problems. Me and my second husband were business partners and friends. I would say we were best friends and business partners before we ever started anything romantic. But I don't tell anyone my problems. I didn't tell people that me and my husband didn't love each other. It was no one's business. I believe marriages, you are partners and you keep secrets with that person about your relationship. You don't share them with people. So I didn't. But one day, Aaron was over hanging out with him and they were playing video games. And he goes, "Oh, so did Kelly tell you we don't love each other?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Oh, she didn't tell you we hardly have sex anymore?" And he was like, "No." And then that opened a door for him. That opened a door for him to realize that I wasn't in a happy marriage and that there was a possibility for me and him. And from that day forward, he pursued me. And I don't know if my ex husband wanted him to pursue me. I'm confused at that fact because, like, I remember a couple of times, one time I was showing houses and I locked my keys in my car. And I called my husband. I was like, "I locked my keys in my car. I'm 45 minutes away. I'm with clients. I need you to come help me." He's like, "I'm busy. I have the kids. I can't." Call Garen. So I called Garen and he went to my house. He'd pick up the keys and he would drive 45 minutes out and bring them to me. And that's who I started depending on. When I needed something, I didn't call my husband because if I did, he would just tell me to call Garen. So I would just start calling Garen and that's who I started depending on. And me and my ex, he decided to go out of town. He would go on trips with the kids because he was with them and I was working. So he decided to go to his mom's for a month. And while he was gone in his mom's, Garen made a move on me. We were at my house and he went down on me and that's it. And then he left. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm feeling feelings for someone that I haven't felt in a long time because me and my husband aren't in love. So I don't get the feelings like this. So it was exciting to me. And then I said, every day I take a shower at 7:30 in the morning, I'll leave my door unlocked tomorrow. My husband was out of town. And at 7:30, he was in my shower with me. And that's how it all started. But before that happened and before my husband went out of town, I had several conversations with him. Like after I knew he had told Garen that we weren't happy, I was like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to stay together for the kids or not?" And he's like, "I don't love you. I don't want to stay with you. We can stay with each other for as long as we need to, but that's it." So I was like, okay. So then me and Garen started having a relationship. My marriage wasn't over on paper. And I know this marriage, I've been waiting for my divorce to be finalized. And what's crazy is I just went and checked my mail before I recorded this episode and I got my stamp paperwork. It was stamped divorced May 1st, 2025. So I am legitimately single. And I think it's crazy that I got that letter in the mail the day I was recording this episode about my first marriage. So I'm single today. I don't have any husbands, and I've had 2. I've actually been engaged 3 times, and I'll talk about that on another episode. But for this episode, I've been married twice, one out of convenience, one out of love. And to tell you the truth, the one out of convenience hurt less. The one out of love I figured out wasn't even really love. So I thought that you could have it all. I thought that you could have passion and be best friends with someone. Because my first marriage, I didn't have that passion and we weren't best friends. He doesn't know a lot of stuff about me that I would have told my best friend. We were just partners in life, but we weren't partners in emotions and stuff like that, which might have made it easier because my second marriage was more hot and cold. It was worse for my mental health. At 20, you don't expect a lot. We're just learning. I just am starting life. But later in life, in relationships, you should know better and you shouldn't hurt people on purpose. And with me and my first husband, we didn't hurt each other on purpose. We hurt each other because we didn't know better and because we got ourselves in a situation that we shouldn't have got ourselves in. But after evaluating my life and reflecting on everything, I couldn't take back any decision I made because without each one of these decisions, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I wouldn't have my two kids because my second marriage, we weren't able to have kids. So it's almost like my life played out exactly how it should. And I used to joke around. I used to say I found the secret key is to find someone to have kids with, find someone with great DNA, good genetics, have kids, then get divorced and then get remarried to someone. Because now you have the best of both worlds. You get your kids sometimes, and sometimes without kids. So I used to think that was the best of both worlds because you can't have both. But you know what? I was misled that what I thought was really love bombing. What I thought was my soulmate wasn't. What I thought was my forever after wasn't. So I always wonder there's a TV show where it goes into three different chapters. Like he graduates high school and one of them he stays with his girlfriend, one of them he breaks up with his girlfriend. There's just different scenarios of his life and he gets to see how they each play out. I would love to do something like that to see what if I didn't get married to the first guy I met after 2 weeks? What if I didn't have my tubes tied or my Assure method that I got that I shouldn't have got? All these crazy decisions that I made that when I look back, when I don't look back, but when I look at the decision, I'm like, shit, that was a crazy decision. But now at 47, looking back at those decisions, each one was critical in getting me where I am here today. It's almost like God does design your life for you. And there's crazy twists and turns in there, but they all lead you to the space you're supposed to be. So it doesn't matter. I always say, I think I'm perfect, but I've been engaged 3 times and married twice. And those guys didn't think I was. But what I realize in life, it doesn't matter what other people think about you. It matters what you think about you. And I've realized that my biggest problem is that I never really loved myself. I never really thought I deserved happiness. I thought that I deserved the men I was getting. I deserved to be mistreated because of things I did. That's not true. I don't deserve to be treated bad. I just met the wrong people. I fell in love with the wrong people. But it was a part of my journey to get me here today and someday to find the man of my dreams that I was supposed to meet. So just wanted to share with you guys that you can make mistakes, what you think are mistakes, but they're actually just stepping stones to the life you're supposed to have. So enjoy every season you have. Don't regret your decisions because they're leading you to something bigger that you just don't know yet. So have a great day, have a great week, and until next time.